What's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here, back with the next part of What If Naruto Became the 6th Hokage. Now before continuing this, if you haven't then please do leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of this channel. And without further ado, let's continue with our story. Story continue. As his Kage Bunshin were doing his paperwork, Naruto was sitting beside Tsunade and had tears flowing down his eyes. Sakura and Shizune were saddened watching the happy-to-go ninja breaking down like this. I'm sorry. I was not able to come at the right time and save you. Please hold on. After Jiraiya-sensei, I can't handle losing you too. Kachan. Shizune and Sakura were surprised when they heard Naruto calling Tsunade Kachan, but given their relationship, they knew that it was not surprising for the blonde to call her that. Sakura, watching her friend crying, and walked up to him and embraced him and whispered into his ear, "Don't worry, Naruto-kun. You are not at fault. The summoning toad was killed by someone and it was their fault. Also, Tsunade-sama did what she had to do as a Hokage and saved her people. She has a major case of chakra exhaustion and due to this, she has gone into a coma. It will take her roughly 3 to 4 weeks to recover and wake up if my and Shizune's predictions are correct." Naruto looked up at Sakura, smiled, nodded and wiped his tears. He then stood up and said, "Sakura-chan, please come to the Hokage's training ground behind the Hokage monument at 7 a.m. tomorrow. We will train together and there is something else I need to talk to you about." Sakura nodded as Naruto left the tent to go to meet with Kakashi and Yamato. Link break. Kakashi and Yamato were sitting and talking about Naruto. Kakashi told him about the Mokuton, and Yamato agreed to help Naruto and went to fetch the scroll that Danzo have given him about Mokuton. He came back to see that Naruto was walking towards them. Naruto came up to Yamato and Kakashi and said, "Yamato-sensei, I presume Kakashi-sensei has told you about the Mokuton." Yamato replied, "Of course, Naruto, but before you start on your Mokuton, meditate and see the changes in your chakra. Also here, take this chakra paper and see the results now." Naruto took the chakra paper and the change was seen. The paper split into 3 parts. One crumbled to dirt, one became wet and disintegrated because of being wet. Small pieces of both of them fell onto the ground and merged to form a small bonsai tree. But what happened to the last piece was not expected by anyone. It burned in Naruto's hands, showing that Naruto has now 3 new affinities, a strong Doton and Suiton affinity and a regular Katon affinity. They got over their shock as Kakashi said, "Well, Naruto, you hold your title of number 1 predictable ninja true. Due to your Mokuton, you have affinities to both Doton and Suiton, but it seems that you have developed an affinity for fire as well. Given your wind affinity, it is surprising but not shocking, and the way the paper reacted, it seems that you have a strong affinity to both Doton and Suiton, probably due to the fact that you got these from the Rinnegan, which gives the holder a high affinity to all elements." Naruto himself got over the shock and said, "It's good because we are in Hinokuni, fire country. I can master the 3 stages of fire manipulation and Gaara gave me a scroll which had the last stage of wind manipulation. As for water manipulation, I am sure that Nidaime Hokage had left some scrolls for the same purpose. The only problem is earth manipulation, which I can master only 2 stages and will have to look for ways to find the last stages or find and do it myself." Kakashi once again smiled and was proud of Naruto's intelligence and maturity and said, "Do you plan to learn Doton and Suiton jutsus as well, or any doing so this to improve your Mokuton?" Naruto gave him a deadpan expression and replied, "Seriously, sensei? By this time you should have known me. But I will learn only the defensive jutsus and some offensive jutsus for Doton. But as for Suiton, I will completely master it, like the Nidaime Hokage. His Kage Bunshin are a real blessing." "Yes, you are right. But for now, first meditate and get familiar with your chakra, and tell me where to come for your training," ordered Kakashi. "Come at the training ground of Hokage at 7 a.m. and by 7 a.m. I mean 7 a.m. tomorrow. But for now I will meditate and get used to my chakra," said Naruto as he leapt off to the training ground Team 7 to meditate. Link break. Naruto is meditating and is observing his changes in the chakra. Earlier his chakra was thick, dark blue colored. Unlike other people who had light blue colored, this showed that his chakra was more potent. Then others had a bit of the Cubist chakra and there was sharp chakra which was Futon chakra. flowing through, but now his chakra was dark purple, showing that it was more potent than before and had Doton and Suiton chakra which seemed to merge and was showing signs of life. But he also found that now the Kyuubi's chakra was lesser than before due to probably rebuilding and strengthening of the seal, but also had burning chakra flowing through. He opened his eyes and appeared in front of ever-beloved cage with kanji for seal on the bars. So, you have come again, pathetic Ningen. What is it this time? Asked the mountain tall. Biju was currently lying down and probably in a nap. Nothing, Kyuubi. Just wanted to ask you if you knew about these changes in my chakra and my Katon affinity. What makes you think that I know about these changes? Answered the Biju. Don't act like that. I was exposed to nearly 9 tails of your chakra, and you want to say that it had no effect on my body, said Naruto. The Kyuubi chuckled and replied, I see that you become more intelligent and smarter. As for these changes, yes, your chakra was growing in potency every day, but time it became this potent. Now your chakra is most potent and it can't get any more potent now. As for your Katon affinity, I am fire and wind spirit. When that pathetic father of yours sealed me into you, you got a high affinity to wind as a side effect. This Katon affinity is the same, a side effect of you being exposed to too much of my unfiltered chakra. You have not changed physically much, except for the fact that you are a bit taller. But the main stages and changes are that now you have been enhanced senses. More than that of your mutt friend. You have become smarter and you have gained the ability to sense negative emotions. The highest level of sensory ninja. Only one other person had this ability. Naruto was surprised when he heard all of this and decided to test it out later, but decided to talk to Kyuubi about the real reason he came here for. He sat down and said, Now tell me what's your story, Kyuubi. What story? The Kyuubi asked with narrowed eyes. Naruto had a smile on his face and said, Still stubborn, like pain. I want to know what your story is. What made you hate humans? Not all humans are bad, and why did you attack Konoha on my birthday? The Kyuubi answered, What makes you think that I will tell you that, pathetic Ningen? Probably the fact that we are stuck together till death. But there is something else. I was not able to save Sasuke from darkness and hatred, but there is still a chance. I want to see what I can do about your hatred, Kyuubi. Answered Naruto. The Kyuubi tried to sense any lie or deceit behind his words but found none. His eyes widened and thought, He is genuine. He really wishes to do so. Not even Hashirama was like this. Let me tell him my story and see what he plans to do further. If his goals are genuine, then I will help him. Maybe I can trust one last time. TD. The Kyuubi stood up, walked to his cage bars, sat down and started to tell his story to Naruto. How he was formed from the Jubi by Rokudo Sanin, how he was asked to guard the fire temple in Hinokuni, how people started to come to him to seal his powers, Uchiha Madara, his battle against the Shoda Hokage, his sealing into Mito, resealing into his mother, and the events of his birthday. When he finished, he sensed emotions differently coming from Naruto, which were happiness, hope, and sadness. You are not wrong, Kyuubi. You have been wronged multiple times, have had your trust broken multiple times, and have been caged for nearly a century, yet you decided to live away from the humans instead of destroying us. That shows that you have the kindness in your heart. If you deem me worthy of your trust, then you can work together with me to stop this cycle of hatred, but if you don't, then I won't blame you. No matter how hard the Kyuubi tried, he was not able to sense any deceit from his words, but decided to ask him one last question to see whether he was worthy of his power or not. Once all of this is over and the Bijus are freed, what will he do with us? Naruto smiled and replied, I will convince all of the nations and tell them the truth about the fact that Biju were originally free will help me a lot. If they don't understand and would still like to make you weapons, then it's simple. He had a look of a true shinobi in his eyes, which were also burning with determination, and said, I will kill them. The old generation will be replaced by the new, who will be taught the right things and ideals, but I don't believe anyone to be fool enough to still consider you guys to be weapons after explaining your birth, purpose, and the shit you all have been through. Kyuubi was now sure that this person that Hagoromo talked about all those years ago was standing before him. He smiled as he remembered Hagoromo and felt the similarities between Naruto and Hagoromo. He remembered his last talk with Hagoromo all those centuries ago. Link break. The Rokudo Sanin, Otsutsuki, Hagoromo stood in the middle. Surrounding him were the Biju when they were a lot smaller. They were two little candles, but by his side. He was looking towards the QB and said, I don't have much time anymore. Shikaku, Matatabe, Isabu, Sangoku, Goku, Saikan, Chaume, Gyuki, and Kurama. Even though you have been separated, you shall always be together, until eventually the time shall come when you will become one. You each carry a name, and with a different shape that you had up to now, you will be shown a righteous path, different from the time you spent inside of me. What is true power? Until that time, Kurama, upon hearing this, was crying as he was the oldest of the Biju and sharing a special bond with Hagoromo. Link break. It's been too long, Gigi, thought Kurama as he smiled and remembered his last talk with his creator. He looked towards Naruto and said, You have shown me that you are worthy, Naruto. I have watched your life every moment until now, and I have admired you for never giving up and your attitude towards that. I will help you and I will place my trust on you fully. But I want to help you not as your Biju, but as your friend and partner. Naruto smiled and stood up to walk towards the cage and said, I expect no less. Can you tell me your name, please? The HB has one, and so I figured that you might also have one. My name is Kurama, but due to this seal, I can give you only one tail's worth of power. But I don't plan to give you more, at least this time. When the time comes, you will have to separate my chakra from me, because my chakra is infused with my rage and hatred, and it also affects you when you use it. After that, I will have to recover from a month to regain my chakra. Then we can train on making you get used to my chakra and other things. Hold out your fist, said Kurama as he held out his fist from between the bars towards Naruto. Naruto did the same as they bumped fist, and Naruto felt a surge of power coursing through his veins. Kurama added, Now you have got another ability. Since the Jubi had Shazen energy, nature energy, as its source, I also have the ability to gather and use Shazen energy. Now, as my host, your ability to gather the same has increased. This time needed for you to do that is now reduced. Wait, as you are in me, were you the one who pushed out Fukusaka-sama earlier when he tried to fuse with me? Asked a curious Naruto. Kurama grinned and answered, Of course, I pushed that old geezer out. Besides, you had my power. What did you need Sage Mode for? Naruto grinned mischievously and said, You arrogant Timmy. Kurama appeared in front of the cage and shouted, Shut up, you naive fool! Don't forget that I am the strongest of the Biju. Not even a minute and you are making fun of me like you think you can. I love you too, Kurama, said Naruto as he disappeared from the mindscape and appeared in the real world. He looked around as he saw the sun going down and decided to tell Kakashi and Yamato about this. He got up, but got another idea instead. That he made two Kagebunshis and told them to tell Kakashi and Yamato to come to the Hokage Tower. Link break. Naruto was sitting in his office, organizing the memory of his clones and talking to Kurama about his chakra control and genjutsus while waiting for Kakashi and Yamato. He saw as they entered the office and told them to sit down and explain everything to them except for Kyuubi's name. Kakashi, after listening this, had a thoughtful expression as he placed a hand on his chin, thinking about something and said, Naruto, to fully master your Biju's powers, you will have to talk to the Raikage about this. Jinchuriki have to go a special place to master their Biju's power, and only Kumo knows about the place. That's why only their Jinchuriki are perfect Jinchuriki. Naruto frowned upon this. Konoha was not on the best relations with Kumo since the Hyuga incident, but decided to think about that later. He then looked at Yamato and asked, Yamato-sensei, do you have the scroll that showed that someone left? Yamato nodded and pulled out a scroll and gave it to Naruto, who made a Kagebunshin to do the rest. He then walked up to a portrait of the Nedama Hokage, bit his thumb to draw out blood, and swept it across the portrait. The blood glowed and a crickle sound was made as the portrait opened like a door. Inside was 3 scrolls with kanji of water on them. He opened the first one and said, Well, looks like Nidame-sama himself made these exercises for anyone wanting to achieve perfect Suiton manipulation. I have to say, if this first exercise is like this, then I don't know what the third one will be like. Curiosity got the better of Kakashi and he asked, What's the first exercise, Naruto? Generally, it is to soak a leaf with water with just your chakra, much like the futon manipulation. It says here that the first exercise is to reverse the flow of water in a river for several minutes. He rolled the scroll and the third scroll read them and said, The second stage is to make whirlpools in water and hold them for several minutes. And the third exercise is to reverse the flow of waterfall for several minutes. After that, it's just more practice to achieve perfect Suiton manipulation, where one will be able to draw water from the surroundings in mere seconds, control the flow of water according to their will, and perform the hardest of techniques with a single or hand half seal. Kakashi and Yamato's eyes widened when they heard this. Such level of mastery over an element was truly worthy of the title Kage. Kakashi then said, "For a normal person, it would take their lifespan to gain such mastery, but with the help of your Kage Bunshin, I expect that it will take 1 or 2 months to do so, and another 2 months to get the perfect mastery over it. As for your Doton training, you will have to do the standard exercises, only which should be finished in 2 to 3 weeks. I say that you learned some necessary jutsus before Yamato and I 1 month. After that, you can start to work on higher Mokutan techniques. Your Katon manipulation will be completed in 2 months, and just like Suiton in 4 months, you will have the mastery of Katon techniques just like Madara Uchiha, and last stage of Futon manipulation should be completed in 3 weeks, and you will have the full mastery in about 2 months. Full mastery of 3 elements and mastery of another. Truly worthy of being called a Kage. After that, I can help you in Raiton manipulation, but only after you have fully mastered your 3 elements and completed the exercises for the 4th. Not to mention, you will be working with the Kyuubi, which will help you in your Genjutsu as well. You will become a true powerhouse, Naruto." "Yes, I was just talking to him before you came here. He said that because he was meddling with my chakra earlier, I did not have good control, but now I have a good enough control to perform lower and mid-level Iryon Jutsu, medical techniques, and perform A-rank Genjutsus. He said that I can improve my control, but due to my massive and ever-growing reserves, the highest I can hope is to get a high-level Iryon Ninjutsu techniques and B-rank Genjutsu. But I will have to work on my chakra control nearly every day to first achieve then maintain it until my reserves are fully matured, which will happen at 25 years of age, so I will leave them be. I will still work on chakra control to maintain it from time to time though. Man, I can't wait to learn Kachan's super strength," said Naruto, getting surprised looks from Kakashi and Yamato, who were thinking about when he said Kachan, but got to know that he said that for Tsunade, and both had the same thoughts. His chakra control was this bad for the start because of the Kyuubi. If he hadn't been affected and trained from the start, then he would have perfect chakra control by now. Kakashi then said, "Kakashi-sensei, tomorrow's training is cancelled. I will start to work on elemental manipulation once I have settled things within Konoha. For now, I will train only in Iryon Ninjutsu, Fuinjutsu, and Senjutsu, which will be with Kyuubi after things are settled. Also, I will start to work with that jutsu." Kakashi looked surprised and asked, "Which jutsu, Naruto?" Naruto smirked and replied, "The one that gave birth to the Yellow Flash, Kiroi Senko, Flying Raijin." Naruto had to exert all of his willpower to not laugh his ass off when he looked at the expression of Kakashi and Yamato, who were in utter surprise and shocked. Kakashi, still in shock, said, "Naruto, you know how dangerous it could be. Even attempt that without proper physical speed, Funjutsu knowledge, and notes. I forbid you to attempt that jutsu until you have brought your speed up to mark. Become a level 9 seal master and until you obtain Minato Sensei's notes." Naruto pointed and said, "You're no fun, Sensei. I will have to search for Tochans." The Kage Bunshin Naruto assigned to read the scrolls poofed as the scroll dropped onto the table. Naruto walked up to his father's portrait and did the same procedure. As the portrait opened, inside were 4 scrolls, 2 with the Namikaze clan crest on them, which was a white circle outlined with a purple lily in the circle. He took the one with the clan crest, opened it, and saw that it was a record of the business's bank's account, land assets, and the money in the Namikaze clan. He saw that since his father's death, the Yamanaka clan was the one that was handling the businesses. He decided to discuss more about that later with Inoichi Yamanaka. He opened the second one, which was a letter from his father. It read as, "Dear Naruto, if you are reading this letter, then the worst has happened, and I have ended up sealing the Kyuubi into you, and your mother is also dead. Masochi, forgive me for the life I am cursing you to, but as the Hokage, I have no other choice. You will not get love in your life, and will have it worse than your mother and Mito-sama. Maybe it's because I believe that the villagers look past their hatred and treat you fairly. Let me tell you about our clan. We are mostly businessmen, but even if there were less shinobi, all of them were geniuses in their own right. Just like the Uchiha clan were associated with Katon, we were associated with Raiton. I built the library of our home in my head in the Hokage mountain, just in case something happened and our house was destroyed. The scrolls, the kimonos, the katanas, chukotos, and a special armor that your mother brought from Uzashio are also there. You might be wondering what happened to our clan. Just like the Senjus, many of us died without heirs, and the shinobis were usually KIAs.
Till the time I was 14, I was the only remaining member of our clan, just like your mother. Our clan was like the Yamanaka clan. We were associated with flowers and poison techniques, and due to our similarities, we had an agreement for the next 50 years. We stated that in case any clan was to be wiped out, the other would take care of the assets and businesses. Don't get scared. I have that told Inoichi, and he said that he will do so until Sandam Sama or the current Hokage deems you ready. If you are my and your mother's son, then you might be reading this as the Hokage suppressing your old man. Heh, Sochi. I think you know the reason you were not told of this earlier. I requested sometimes someone not to tell you about your mother until you are tuning and about me until you are joining. I know that if there is anyone who can surpass me and learn to use the power of the QB, it's you. As the least thing a parent can do, I trust you, Naruto. I love you, my Sochi. Your father, Namikaze Minato, Yonda Hokage, and Konoha's Yellow Flash. P.S. There are 2 other scrolls containing my notes about the Rasengan and Harshin. Naruto was feeling something in his heart as he read the letter. He was not sure what it was, as he never felt what it was. Kurama decided to enlighten him on this. Love said, a voice inside his mind. What? Asked Naruto. The thing that you are feeling is love. You have never experienced it much in your life, so reading that letter of your father made you realize that you were loved. There are people in this world who care about you. Think about it. Your small group, the Hokage, your sensei, the ramen stand people, the people you saved, all of them love you and support you, and they will always protect you just like you would do for them, said Kurama. Naruto was shocked to his core. He never knew that all those people loved him and truly cared for him. Tears threatened to fall from his eyes as he remembered all those times. He quickly wiped them and read the other 2 scrolls and said, well, Kakashi-sensei, seems like you were right. I don't need the Rasengan notes anymore, as I have only completed it, but need to work on my speed and Fuinjutsu. Me and Sakura-chan will start tomorrow. I will also learn Iryo ninjutsu from her and continue my senjutsu training with the QB. For now, you can leave, sensei. Kakashi smiled and left at once with Yamato as Naruto thought to himself, looks like I have a forbidden scroll to visit. But not now. Tomorrow. With that, Naruto went to his sleeping quarters in the Hokage mansion and went to sleep. The next day, one day till induction, Naruto was patiently waiting for Sakura at the Hokage's training ground while contemplating what he learned today in the morning in the Forbidden Scroll of Sealing. Man, Mokutan surely is scary. So much potential. Also that Nedame-sama Genjutsu, he sighed. As he thought about it again, Sakura was on her way to the Hokage's training ground but was having an internal battle. Why did I kiss Naruto on the cheek today? Because you feel for him, don't you? Said inner Sakura, woken up again as a result of Sakura's conflicted feeling. But what about Hinata? She confessed to him. Don't you think he will act on that too? Said Sakura, nearing the ground. But do you know what Sai told us? He loves us, and nothing is fair in the ninja world, much less love and war. Ranted inner Sakura. But now I think about it, he was always been there for me. Even when Sasuke rejected me all those times, he promised me to bring back Sasuke even when it broke him. He truly cares for me and loves me. It's time I act upon these feelings and return them. I have to show him that I am no longer that Sasuke fangirl with no brain. I have grown up, and I know what is good for me, thought inner Sakura, as she arrived at the training ground and watched Naruto sitting there waiting for her. Go get your man, girl, said inner Sakura with a thumbs up sign. After today's training, I will comfort him about it, thought Sakura as she made her way to Naruto's training ground. As a huge training field was truly huge. It had trees, boulders, and a waterfall to complete it. Ohayo, Naruto-kun, said Sakura as she stopped in front of Naruto. Naruto, still not accustomed to Sakura calling him that, looked up and said, Ohayo, Sakura-chan. So, what do you need from me? Asked Sakura. Before I start my training, I have a way to speed up our training. I will teach you the Kage Bunshin, Sakura-chan, said Naruto. Are you sure, Naruto? Only you have such potential and chakra reserves for that kind of training. Sakura, a bit concerned. Naruto then proceeded to tell her about yesterday's event, except the Hokage and Kyuubi's name part, and told her that she has more than enough to make 20 Kage Bunshins. Use them for training and not be affected. Sakura spent the next 1 hour learning the Kage Bunshin, in which she had no problem due to her chakra control. Afterwards, she sent one Kage Bunshin to train with one of Naruto's Kage Bunshin about Iryo ninjutsu. Naruto then handed her a chakra paper and told her to channel her chakra into it. The results was half of the water burned and crumbled to dust and the other half getting wet. Naruto looked at her and said, "Well, Sakura-chan, you are in luck. I also have trained in these affinities. We will master Suiton and Katon, and I think Doton will help you in your fighting style. We will start to train in these the day after tomorrow. Now, the main reason I called you here," asked Naruto as he took out a brush and twin bottles from his Funjutsu kit. Naruto looked at her and said, "We are lacking in the physical and speed department, Sakura-chan. I will place resistance seals on your limbs and a gravity seal on you. The resistance seals are like least weight, but you don't have to worry about taking them off. Just make a half rem seal, thinking about it, and gone are your weights. The gravity seals is a bit more complicated. It will affect your body as a whole instead of just the limbs. So what do you say?" Sakura looked at Naruto, smiled, and said, "Sure, Naruto-kun, we have to improve to our best. After all," Naruto nodded and said, "Sakura-chan, remove your sandals and your gloves. The resistance seals will go there." And before that, Naruto opened one ink bottle and said, "Add your blood in that, Sakura-chan. It will recognize your blood, and that is how you will be able to remove your seal." Sakura nodded and took out a kunai out of her pouch and did so. Naruto drew the seals on her legs and hands and held his hand in a half rem seal and said, "Fuin." The effects were instantaneous as Sakura found her limbs hard to move. Naruto then said, "Next is gravity seal, Sakura-chan. It can be applied in only three places: the chest, the back of the neck, or the back. Where do you want it?" asked Naruto, and Sakura saw that he was blushing furiously. Inner Sakura again woke up and said, "Now's your chance, girl. Show him what this cherry baby is made of." Cha! Sakura herself was blushing furiously, but smirked and replied, "Ah, is my Naruto-kun blushing?" Naruto shook his head vigorously and said, "No, Sakura-chan, I just told you the truth." Naruto slowly registered what she said and thought, "Wait, what does she mean by my Naruto-kun? I thought she never liked me." What happened next shocked Naruto to his core. He sensed it. Sakura-chan has these feelings for me. "Oi, Kurama, it's not some bad joke, is it?" "No. The feelings that Vixen has for you are genuine. About time, both of you." Naruto decided to talk about that to Sakura at the end of the day. "I would like it on my back, Naruto-kun," said Sakura as she turned around and moved her top. Naruto saw her pink bra and tried to concentrate on the seal as he drew the sealing array on her back and asked Sakura to put her top back on, which she did, and Naruto activated the seal. The effect was instantaneous as Sakura slumped to the ground and found it hard to get back up. Naruto explained, "With the help of the gravity seal, you can increase the effect of gravity on your body. There are 5 levels. The first level, which you are at, increase gravity on your body 2 folds. The second level, 5 times and much. The third level, 8 times as much. The fourth level, 10 times as much. The last level, 12 times as much." Naruto then mixed his blood in a new ink bottle and made a Kagebunshin, which applied the resistance seals on him. He then removed his jacket, showing a mesh shirt which clung tightly on him, showing his well-developed abs. Sakura was blushing even more fiercely as Inner Sakura ranted, "Move that mesh and show that abs more." Cha! But as he removed his mesh shirt, she gasped in shock, watching a scar running over his right side. Over his chest, she neared him and asked, "What is this scar, Naruto-kun? How did you get it?" Naruto looked at Sakura as his hand went over his scar. He sighed and said, "This is a reminder of the day when Sasuke tried to kill me and when I failed to save him from D-rank mission that we sent, the darkness that he fell into that day." Sakura hugged him and cried on his shoulder and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Naruto-kun. If I wasn't such a bitch that day, this would have never happened." Naruto returned her hug and replied, "It's not your fault, Sakura-chan. Don't ever call yourself that. Now let us start training." Naruto applied the seal and made 2 Kagebunshins for Senjutsu training. As both of them took their time to adjust with the weights and the gravity seals at the end of the day, both were panting. Both of them sat down and Naruto said, "Sakura-chan, at the end of the week, you have to remove the gravity seals of your body to recover. By the end of the week, our body speed will increase by 2 times with the help of the gravity seals alone. And with the resistance seals, it will increase even more. This training regimen is for 4 weeks and it will help us drastically." Sakura nodded as she removed her sandals to show sore muscles of her legs, but Naruto stopped her and said, "Hey Sakura-chan, mind if I do that?" Sakura nodded as Naruto did the hand seal and activated the mystical palm technique. He healed Sakura's muscle and Kurama healed his own muscles. Both of them sat there and Sakura broke the silence. "Naruto-kun, there is something I need to talk to you about." Naruto said, "Don't worry about it, Sakura-chan. I already know it." Sakura looked at Naruto in shock and said, What do you know, Naruto-kun?" Naruto smiled and answered, "You want to comfort me about your feelings, don't you?" Sakura looked at Naruto in shock and wanted to ask him how he knew it. Before she could say anything, she answered her questions from Naruto. "Due to my sensory abilities, I sensed your feelings for me. I never thought that this day would come, actually, Sakura-chan." Sakura looked at him, smiled, and said, "So what now, Naruto-kun? What do you intend to do?" He looked at her and said, "Of course, if you would like. I want to give us a chance." He sighed and said, "But before that, I have to tell Hinata." She smiled again and said, "So it's great, don't you think?" "Nay, Naruto-kun." He smiled and replied, "Yes, Sakura-chan. But for now, let's go back home. Anbu was saying that Daimyo-sama has an announcement to make." Sakura replied, "Hi, after the reconstruction is complete, we will go on our date." Naruto nodded as both of them left. He walked Sakura to her tent and went back to the Hokage mansion to sleep and wait for the big day tomorrow. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this part of, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. As this is Apollo Uchiha and I'm signing out.